This is the Atlantic Ocean on the west coast of Africa. Some call it the Gold Coast, some call it the Ivory Coast. Once upon a time, it was the embarkation point of the slave trade. Hello, I'm Stan Coleman, and I'm in the nation of Ghana. And I'm traveling with the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation as they come to take a look at the healthcare needs of this nation. As rich as it may be, it does have serious problems, and I invite you to travel with me for the next half hour with the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation as we take a look at the healthcare institution and all the other institutions that are impacted by it. Cape Coast, Ghana sits right on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean at what is called Guinea Bay. In fact, the ocean is right across the street from the Metropolitan Hospital of Cape Coast. While to us it may be picturesque, for them the sea is the enemy, because the sea is salt water, and salt water corrodes.
The problem we face here most of the time is our proximity to the sea. Because of that, we have a lot of corrosion of most of our equipment. Equipment break down. Now, if you are very careful, you realize that most of our air conditioners are not even working. Sometimes when they open them, full of salt. But there's a lot of salt. We're just about 400 meters from the sea. So the problem we face here is mainly infrastructure, old wards, more equipment, and frequent breakdown because of the proximity to the sea.
15 students, 3 orthopedic surgeons, a vascular surgeon, an anesthesiologist, a radiologist, and an eye surgeon, along with a host of humanitarians, traveled to the Metropolitan Hospital and the Cape Coast University Hospital in Cape Coast, Africa, on a humanitarian medical mission. Many of them traveled last year on the mission to Haiti. When they arrived, 500 people were there to receive free medical surgery. There were men, women, children, old and young. They came with all manner of ailments, some due to accidents, some due to poor medical attention, and some they were born with. For those humanitarians who were new, it was an eye-opener. For those who traveled last year, there were immediate comparisons.
I think it's interesting in that the socioeconomic conditions, the need for the work we do there was equal to what we'd seen in Haiti. But the hospital had much more modern equipment. I got part of the day to walk around, and they're very organized, which I didn't see in some of the other countries. Very helpful, very nice people, but yet had a great need for us.
Well, it was very similar, a lot of the things, to Haiti, but it's a lot cleaner than Haiti, and there's better equipment and more organization. There wasn't as much chaos as there was last year, but the surgeries were similar, and we did a lot of the same things, and it was also just a really great experience. I really was fortunate to come.
But I've noticed there's a lot less victims of motorcycle accidents this year. Last year we saw a lot of broken legs, mainly femurs from people who had been in accidents on their motorcycles. This year it's been a lot more congenital defects and older injuries that never healed properly. So it's been a different experience.
I've been to Armenia with the program, and I've also been to Haiti with the program. Here in Ghana, it's definitely a lot different than Armenia. Just very different lifestyle, very different type of people. And as far as in Haiti goes, it was very similar, but also very dissimilar in a lot of ways. So it's definitely cool to see all the different places and be able to compare and contrast them, and it's definitely been a good experience.
I've been on this trip to Armenia, and then last year I went to Haiti. And in some ways it's very similar. The people are very excited to have us here. They're very desperate for these surgeries. And in some ways it's very different. A lot of the injuries are very different. In Haiti there's a lot of leg injuries from motorcycle accidents, and here there's just a variety of different injuries. So that makes it very different.
Both times that I've been, I just realized that there's a lot more going on. It's easy to get consumed in your own little world when you're back at home, but coming here just each time opens my eyes and makes me realize I have a lot to be grateful for.
The people who come to the hospitals come here with ailments and injuries long thought to be eradicated or would have been taken care of immediately were they in the United States.
A lot of problems that we would have taken care of in the United States at a very early age here get pushed off, and then a lot of problems that are just too difficult for their healthcare system to handle, so there's just no option for them.
The problems are similar to those we see in many places. It's just the access to what you might consider routine care is more limited.
I'm told they're looking for an ophthalmologist, but this is another one of those double-edged swords. If you've got no equipment, no ophthalmologist is going to come. And if you have no ophthalmologist, there's really no necessity to spend a lot of time putting in expensive machinery so that an ophthalmologist can work.
This is the central business district of Cape Coast, Ghana. And as prosperous as it may seem, the economics of the situation begs to differ. Although Ghana is known as the Gold Coast, it is also rich in oil, diamonds, timber, cocoa, and many other resources. The nation is a prosperous one. As you can see, business is booming in downtown Cape Coast. That has led to a boom in prosperity in some places, while leaving a drought in prosperity in others. So how is it that hundreds of people from what was once a fishing village, but now has exploded into a metropolis, are in dire need of health care? It turns out that the very prosperity of the nation is robbing Cape Coast of its economic base.
When we go to the western region, that's where we have the second main port of Ghana, Takoradi Port. So a lot of people, a lot of good jobs are there because of the port activities, commercial activities are higher. So people move there. Then Accra, which is the capital of Ghana, also attracts a lot of people from these areas. There'll be a lot of jobs there. Yeah, over here, I must say the commercial and economic is not so high.
Although there is plenty of evidence of abject poverty here in Cape Coast, the infrastructure here reflects the prosperity of the nation.
Cape Coast is an educational center. I would say it's the first-class educational center in the country. We have the University of Cape Coast here, which is a tertiary institution with about 18,000 students. Then we have a polytechnic, which is also a tertiary institution here in Cape Coast. Then the secondary school level, which we will call, in America, we call it the high school. And in the high school level, all the very good missionary schools set up by the missionary churches are here in Cape Coast. The first-class schools, so the Fancy Pim, Adisodile, and Ghana National. And of course, because of these schools, we need teachers, we need supporting staff for the schools. So it provides employment, the schools provide employment, educational employment for the people in Cape Coast. And as I said, being a capital, a regional capital, all the regional offices, head offices for the region are situated here. So we have civil servants here for the health sector, the educational sector, and etc.
Again, the prosperity of the nation is part of the problem. As you have heard, there are excellent educational institutions here in Cape Coast. This is one of the best high schools in the nation. The kids who go here are among the nation's elite and will someday be prosperous in whatever they do. That is not by chance or accident. When children here reach the high school level, their educational future, thus their life's future, is then determined by standardized tests.
In Ghana, we have first, second, third, fourth class schools. And if you look at the rating, most of the first class schools were run by the missionaries. And most of the students who go to these schools perform well in the basic level examination.
Where you go to high school will determine if or where you go to university. From there, one's future can be very bright. To some in Ghana, education is the #1 need of the Ghanaian people.
I think the greatest need will be obviously education. Education. You may be tempted to say health, but I would put education first. Many of the diseases that we are suffering from come from ignorance. ignorance of, for example, what to eat and so many things. So I will put education on the top of the ladder. Then comes health. Health, as you may have seen yourself, is health delivery is a need, a crying need.
A form of universal health insurance is available to the Ghanaian people. The big companies, the university, and the educational system provide health insurance. But most of those left here in Cape Coast are self-employed. And although there is universal health care, many do not get it. The problem is further compounded by lack of confidence in the medical treatment here and the fact that those left here only come to the hospital when their illness is severe. In many cases, they don't take good medical care of themselves. So the battle here is one of prevention, one the medical practitioners are fighting hard to just hold their own. There are 3 main hospitals here in Cape Coast. This happens to be one of them, the University of Cape Coast. And level of care notwithstanding, their problem isn't that people can't pay. Their problem is getting them to come to the hospital.
The first thing is to teach the people how to take good care of themselves, not to come and take care of them. Helping them to take good care of themselves is very, very important. We need a lot of education. We need a lot of support in health promotion and disease prevention programs and activities and strategies.
To that end, the United States government is contributing to health improvement and the educational process by developing what they call CHIPS compounds. These are small local community health clinics manned by local community health nurses.
A community health nurse is a person who is a high school graduate who has received 2 years of health education, okay? So she is called, or he is called, community health nurse. And these, what we call CHIPS compounds, are manned by community health nurses, and they bring the healthcare to the community, the small villages.
But the backbone of aid from the United States to many countries is provided by non-governmental organizations like the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation. In addition to free surgeries, the foundation brings thousands of dollars in medical supplies and equipment, all donated by American companies.
Some of the companies that helped make this possible for us to come here to do our vein procedures were Covidian and Sonocyte. Sonocyte donated an ultrasound machine for us to use, and Covidian donated a generator and some catheters for us to use so we could do our vein procedures.
To be here and see how life in Cape Coast is compared to the rest of the country is a contradiction in realities. The contradictions here are many. The people have poor health care, but the business district is booming. They live modest to poor lives, while the rest of the country gets fat and rich. This is Margaret. She lives in the city of Cape Coast, Ghana, along with her 2 daughters, a grandchild, and her mother. Their home is 2 rooms, the larger room for her and her children, the smaller room for her mother. To make a living, she sells bananas. She earns approximately $400 a year. She considers that a good living. This is Matilda. She is one of 6 children. She very badly needs surgery for a cleft lip.
Matilda, give us a smile. She's born with a cleft lip, which has not had anything done yet. Open your mouth a little bit so we can get it. That's a nice smile. Good. And for her, the surgery for Dr. Mileman back home would be to fix the cleft.
The doctors will send her picture back to the United States to be considered as a candidate to bring to the States for surgery. Her family is very poor and cannot afford the surgery. Dr. Smolinski is an orthopedic surgeon and wanted a second opinion while waiting to hear from the States. Dr. Nielsen, who has experience with this kind of defect, wants to take a look. The team takes a bus ride to Matilda's house, but the bus can't navigate the road, so she comes to the bus.
Do you think that it's doable? That's something that can be done with
I think, absolutely. I think it's repairable for sure.
Back in the United States, Dr. Mileman received Matilda's pictures and Dr. Smolinski's and Nielsen's diagnosis. He concurs. Matilda is a good candidate to come to the United States for surgery.
I was very happy to learn of a young 7-year-old female who has been going around without her cleft lip having been repaired. And I think she is a very worthy youngster to bring back to Buffalo and to see if we can help her here in Buffalo.
Matilda isn't the only child in severe need, but the team can only do so much.
If you analyze numbers, millions of people with problems versus how many we're able to take care of, it's not significant. But if you analyze on an individual, human-to-human basis, and that's really all we can do. I'm just one person. I'm not God. I can't fix everybody. I think it makes a big difference.
Matilda is one of the lucky ones. She will have a lifelong deformity corrected, and it will most likely change her life. But even if she is accepted, she is just one of dozens, maybe even hundreds, who will have to live out their lives disfigured or deformed.
Okay, today we're going to do 4 cases. None of them require anesthesia. The first is a supernumerary digit on an infant that Dr. Blum is just going to put a suture around and just leave it there for 2 weeks, and the digit would ultimately fall off. So that requires really no surgery, just a suture.
Surgery may seem like a glamorous job, but once in the operating room, you quickly determine if it is right for you.
I know I'm not going to be a surgeon. That's for sure. I'm going to stick with pediatrics like I wanted.
To definitely experience that and experience helping stitch up people and all those different things definitely reinforced what I wanted to do.
It's definitely changed my perspective. I used to want to work in marketing, and now I really want to work as an ambassador or some kind of international correspondent to help better these places that really could use our help.
I've wanted to be a surgeon for a while now, and that's why I'm doing health science at Franklin Pierce. And I was pretty sure that's what I wanted to do, but usually you don't get a chance to see an operating room until after you've basically your last couple years of medical school, even if that. So I think just having a chance to see surgeries and be absolutely sure that that's definitely what I want to do, I think that really helps, so I know I'm on the right path.
I think I've decided sort of a medical career path. I decided to be a PA in surgery, so that helped definitely make that decision.
One of the best things in the operating room that I've learned is that I feel like I really want to become a surgeon now. And I had my doubts at some points, I was not worried about, I was always wondering how my hands were going to be in there, but after this great experience, I think, it's the right path for me.
For the students traveling with the mission, this is an eye-opener. They get an experience they would not see for years later in their medical education. It has helped some of them make up their minds if medicine is for them.
I think Hope for Tomorrow is great. They have really helped us to get into the OR and see what's going on. You can observe or do surgeries and help out with, suturing or snipping stitches, and it's great to get in there and to experience it before you get into the actual medical field. That way you know what's coming toward, along the journey.
These students come from many different walks of life. While not all intend to be doctors, most intend to enter the medical field. For all of them, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to find out if the medical field is for them.
Growing up in Depew, I was very sheltered and get to really see a lot of things coming out here, to see the different culture, the way they react with each other. People seem a little bit more polite. And you can tell that they're all really happy to have us here.
But there is more to this than just standing in the operating room and getting an eye for it. This is an opportunity to learn about people who are different from them and whose lives are very different from theirs.
It's an eye-opening, once-in-a-lifetime experience for the students. They get to see other cultures, they get to appreciate our culture and medicine as it is delivered in the United States. They appreciate language barriers, and they get to become more compassionate and empathetic healthcare providers by this experience.
My goal with a lot of these things and the hope is that they will engage service, that they'll move forward with service for their communities as well as service for the entire world. This is something that will enrich their lives and make them, I think, more satisfied people, as well as give them opportunities that otherwise they'd never have.
This doesn't compare. The sanitary conditions aren't anything that I would be used to, and one hospital is different from another. The organization, there isn't a whole lot of organization. I guess it works for them.
I absolutely has affected my life. I think more outside of my little world. When you see any type of major disaster or incident on TV, you can relate much more easily to it, having been here and met the people or been in similar countries.
Yeah, it's my first time. I think it's pretty cool that we can come out here and help all these people who need it.
It's crazy to see that they don't have anything really that we are able, or that we in the United States think that's normal or everyday, that you don't even think about really. And that what we do here in the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation in Ghana is just incredible.
It's to compare it to our healthcare system is just like astronomical, because we complain a lot at home, and to see what other people have and don't have, it really makes you appreciate the way that our country is.
It's a great thing to be able to take the college students on the trips and have them learn firsthand what real medical treatment looks like and consists of, so that they themselves can make a decision as to whether they really want to continue along their careers in medicine, or if maybe medicine is not what they would choose.
The students had an up-close and personal opportunity to get to know these kids at this orphanage in Cape Coast. It's unclear where these kids come from, and not every child served by the orphanage stays here every night. But those who are served here are obviously vulnerable, and this orphanage is subsidized by the Ghanaian Social Services Department. Through it, these children have their every need met. Today, the need is love. The faces of these children tell the story. They appear to be happy on the outside, but that is because solidarity is a Ghanaian trait. The facts can't hide the truth. Poverty hits the children the hardest.
The first negative will be the low income, which affects the quality of life. Low income, which affects also the education of the children and many other things. And so it does create poverty, which affects the family quite a bit.
I want to thank the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation, because it was just amazing. And for a person in my position, I found it very rewarding, fulfilling, everything I could have asked for.
Oh, it's going to affect my life forever. I mean, it's something that I'm always going to remember, and hopefully something that I can do again. And having this experience really made me want to do it again and again.
It is this kind of suffering that prompted St. Pope John Paul II to ask the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation to commit to its work. Every 2 years, the group returns to Rome to report on its mission, and in many cases brings a child from a country it has served. This year, they again return to Rome.
The Pope, he's just so warm and friendly, and for him to give us blessings and walk by and smile, and when he picked up a couple of the children in the crowd and just picked them up and took them and gave them kisses and handed them back to the mother, it was very moving.
In his message, he spoke of the fact that our piety should come from within. It cannot be superimposed by religious practice, by presence at a ceremony, superficiality, but it must come as what it is, from the heart, from within, as a gift of God, not something of our own doing.
One of the humanitarians had an opportunity to speak to the Holy Father.
It was really wonderful to be there and to be able to talk to the Holy Father face to face.
I talked to him about the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation and the incredible work that the organization is doing throughout the world. Told him how they're helping young children in need with tremendous life-saving surgeries. He gave a big, huge smile on his face. It was beautiful. I spoke with him in Spanish because, of course, he's from Argentina, so I spoke with him in his native tongue. And then I asked him also about Mideast peace because he has a whole bunch of important meetings. And he said to me, with faith, basically all things are possible, and that with God in control, all things are possible. And he gave me a beautiful smile. He blessed a whole bunch of rosaries that I had, and also, most importantly, a medal that I had from my father when my father fought in the Polish resistance. So it was a very, very special day, and it was an honor to be here with this great foundation and for such a great cause and a great reason, and the most magnificent city in the world.
Among the humanitarians at the Vatican was Christopher Nixon Cox, grandson of President Richard Nixon.
It was very exciting, and it was great to be here in the Holy See and the Holy Father. You can just feel the goodness emanating from him. It was truly an amazing experience, and he spent so much time with the people. He truly is a hope of people.
The mission of the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation does not go unnoticed in Rome. In addition to recognition by the Pope, the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation's work is recognized and praised by the United States State Department.
Exactly, and actually this year we're celebrating our 30th anniversary of relations with the Holy See, between the U.S. and the Holy See, and so we've been reflecting on what that partnership has been throughout the years, what that relationship has been throughout the years, and at its very base, there's been the desire to promote human rights, to promote human dignity, to help people who are in need, all around the world, to help just promote human rights, combat trafficking in persons, promote health care for all, protection for the environment, all of these things that have at their core, the need to help our fellow man. And the work that your foundation is doing has been incredible in helping so many people who really, could really appreciate that and really need that kind of assistance.
So amid all its prosperity, Ghana, like many other nations, has its problems. The Hope for Tomorrow Foundation came and we made our contribution. 500 people came to the 2 hospitals. We were able to help about 20%. For the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation, I'm Stan Coleman. Thank you for watching.